Hi, Angelo Lambropoulos, Director of Lambros Realty here. Thank you for tuning in for this month's episode, the March 2022 property market update here in Cherrybrook. So just a couple of things before I get into the statistics and I guess the breakdown of what's happened over the course of the past month. What I will be doing in the bottom of the YouTube video down in the description setting, what I'll be putting there is just a breakdown of all the stats and figures, so it's easy to comprehend and easy to refer to and read. Obviously, if you're in a rush and you just want to read the statistics, it's there, so you don't have to listen to me for 10 minutes, however long it takes. Obviously, watching the video, I will go into things in a lot more detail, but if you want just a general breakdown, that's all going to be there for you. So just wanted to make mention of that. In case your time strapped, you can just go straight there. So let's get into it, shall we? And let's see how Cherrybrook went last month. So there was a total of 17 homes recorded for March 2022, last month. The median amongst those sales was sitting at 2,338,000. The highest sale recorded was 3.1 million, which is the first home to crack that price here in Cherrybrook. So a very big congratulations to the sellers, the agents in which sold that, and the buyers. I'm sure you're going to have many happy years ahead, and you're definitely going to make that money back and plenty more in the future. So fantastic achievement there. And average days on market in Cherrybrook at the moment is sitting at 29. So if we look at this in comparison to how things were faring this time last year, so in March 2021, there was a total of 20 registered home sales. The median amongst those sales was sitting at 2,092,000. The highest sale recorded was 2,411,000, and average days on market were powering along at just 19. So if we draw a comparison there, so there were registered home sales up by 10. Compared to this time last month. So if we look at what happened in February, there were only 7 sales there and 3 sales down from this time last year in March 2021. So you could very much see that the market was a lot hotter back then as opposed to what we're seeing now. It's also worth noting that in March 2021, that was the first month in which Cherrybrook had cracked the initial median price of $2 million and consistently trended above that 2 million since. So just a bit of trivia in case you're interested. Now, the median price for home sales is up 11.8% from this time last year and down 2.65% from last month, being February 2022. I just want to make mention on that, though. There were only 7 home sales recorded in February, which is well below the suburb average, which is generally about 15, give or take, sales per month. So the statistics there are not conclusive and hard to draw upon. So just something to keep in mind. As far as the auction results are concerned for March 2022, there were 15 registered auctions. 5 had sold at auction. One had sold prior, and a staggering 9 had passed in, which gives us an actual auction clearance rate here in Cherrybrook of 33%. And if you're looking at those that had sold, those that had sold prior, sitting at 40%. So just to give you the breakdown on the statistics there was an extra 1 auction scheduled in comparison to that of February 2022. The auction clearance rates are down 10% from February 2022, and if you include those that had sold prior, down 24%. Obviously, 9 homes had passed in for the month of March 2022, with 5 homes that had passed in last month in February. So as you can see, the auctions aren't performing too well, and as to why that is, I'll get to that shortly. As far as listings are concerned and how many listings are on the market at present, there's currently 27 homes currently listed for sale. Now, that's when I checked the data on the 31st of March, yesterday. I'm recording the video today, being the 1st of April. And this is compared with 22 homes that were listed for sale when I had done the previous video, which was Friday, the 4th of February. So there's an additional 5 listings up from when it was last recorded. So as you can see, there's a listing increase. So as a general guideline, and what does this mean? If we're looking at Cherrybrook as a suburb, I'm sure a lot of you buying are quite familiar with the fact that if you're looking to buy a house in Cherrybrook, there's only been one page of listings for quite some time. Over the past 2 to 3 months, you'll notice it's now stemming to 2 pages. So general rule of thumb, if there's 20 listings or under, which would be considered low stock levels for the suburb, very much a seller's market, supply and demand. This is generally speaking, of course. Anywhere between 20 to 30 listings being the suburb average. That being said, 20 to 25, it's more in, I guess the pendulum's more in favor of the sellers, pardon me, whereas that 26 to 30 point is more in favor of the buyers. Now, if we're talking a 31 plus listings, which this has not happened for, at least 3 years from what I can recall, off the top of my head from as far as I've been tracking data here. 31 plus listings would, which obviously indicates high stock levels, very much swings the pendulum in the favor of a buyer's market. Now, going back to what I was saying with the auction before and what seems to be happening as a result, you can see that there's an increase in stock. You can also see, just looking at the real estate's data, so if you look at the Cherrybrook suburb profile analysis, what was once a high demand market is now sitting in an average buyer demand market. So on average, realestate.com are getting an average view rate of 798 page visits for properties in Cherrybrook, in comparison to 1,322 visits for New South Wales as a whole. So this data very much correlates with the poor auction clearance rates and the low inspection numbers, which I'm sure a lot of you have seen at open homes. Could very well be a case of the weather. It hasn't been ideal in March. It's been the wettest March as far as I can remember. Look, a series of things leading up into the election, things do generally slow down. No logical reasoning for it. I think it's just this stigma that the society's created happens. I think in amongst that though, what's I guess positive for everyone involved here as a seller, still very strong property prices are being achieved. I mean, despite all this, where Cherrybrook's now homes just set a new record at 3. So the other thing that holds the suburb resilient is very low mortgage stress levels, right? So if these properties are passing it at auction, it's not the end of the world. It's just, it didn't work. The process didn't work for whatever reason. But they are still selling, and they're selling for quite strong prices, as you can see with the medium and, a new price record being set. And I know you can't look at one sale price as a justification for what's happening in the property market. But what does stand true is there are very few bargains to be had. Now, as a buyer, there's a couple of ways of looking at this. You can look at this thinking, I want to buy cheap. I'm waiting for the market to crash. Now, if that's I guess if you take that viewpoint and you wait for the market to crash, and say that does happen, which I don't have a crystal ball, but just judging on mortgage stress and the fact that Cherrybrook's been averaging 11 to 12% per annum for at least the past 10 to 15 years, as far as annual growth is concerned, if you're looking at power probability and statistics, it's very much in your favor of buying in a solid suburb. So, which stands true. I mean, once upon a time, the $1 million price point was frowned upon, right? This is 2009, 2010. Cherrybrook starts cracking the $1 million price point. 2017, 2016, it starts hitting the $2 million price point, and now we're sitting at 2022. We've now cracked the $3 million price point. So you can see it's trending north. Now, if, let's just say for argument's sake, bargains were to be had, and the suburb did have high mortgage stress levels, if you're buying into a suburb, your resale value, I guess, isn't going to be as lucrative as it would perhaps be in other suburbs. So I guess for resale value, when you're buying, you can rest assured that you're purchasing in in a strong suburb with good price growth. Whereas if you're purchasing in a suburb, depending on what you're looking to do, if your intent is to not sell and stay there for years, you're going to be looking for a bargain. But just, I guess what I'm saying is be very exercise with caution, because a lot of the time, you've been looking there trying to buy a year, 2 years later, still haven't bought anything, and the market's just leapfrogged 30-40%, despite the fact there was a glitch in the time when perhaps a market, if I'm referring to the 2017-2018 period where it had corrected 6.6%, the back half of 2017 to early 2019, over that 2-year period of 6.6%, there was that air of opportunity to buy. But what you'll find is a lot of the people that were looking to sell at that price in that period were obviously utilizing their changeover price and looking to upgrade. So I guess something to be mindful of. I hope I haven't waffled on too much. Hope that makes sense. And just sort of finishing up now with the rental market, the average suburb yield sits at 2% with a current median of 780 per week. So this remains unchanged from last month's recording. It's been unchanged since, I think, November 21. So I'll leave it there. Just one last thing I wanted to finish up on. If you want to stay up to date on everything that's happening, I guess, within the Cherrybrook community, what we're doing as a real estate office, so talking about community news, events, promoting local eateries or promotions that are happening with shops. Want to be staying tuned with crime alerts as well. I guess it's a channel that covers everything. So we've set up a Telegram channel. You will need to download the app in order to view it, but very good there if you want to stay informed. And particularly if you're looking to move into the area, this will give you very good insight of what it's like. You'll get to meet your neighbors without meeting your neighbors. If you already live here, again, a great opportunity to sort of see the local achievements and what's happening within the community, to really get behind. So what I'll also do in relation to that, it's pretty simple. It's t.me/Lambros Realty. That's our Telegram channel. But I'll leave that link in the YouTube comment section for you, in our description section, so you can go and have a look at that yourself. Now, I think I've waffled on a bit too much, as I always do. I just, go off. But I hope that that data breaks things down, gives you a good indication of how the market's tracking. Again, you can't base a market on month-by-month statistics. And this is why I always go back and look at what happened at March last year, so we can see and start to draw comparisons on, obviously the median price and sale prices are going to be higher now, absolutely. But you want to see, what was it like? How many sales were there? As far as median price was concerned, how quickly was it moving? Days on market, which indicate a very big indicator of how quick things were moving. So, if we compare both this year's March versus last March, the heat was very much in March last year. So anyway, so I'll summarize. That's it. So Angelo Lambropoulos, Director of Lambros Realty. You can call me at the office, 0294810999 if you have any further questions. Email me on info@lambrosrealty.com.au, or visit us at our office, being Apple Tree Shops, Cherrybrook, Shop 2132 Shepherds Drive, Cherrybrook. And obviously, to follow us socially, we're there on the Telegram channel. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next month.